Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here. Welcome back to the channel for a quick update on PancakeSwap. So things just got worse for Cake, and here is why in 3 charts. Let's dive right into the macro time frame, and then we'll talk about what is happening in the lower time frame. So first of all, from the macro perspective, you can clearly see, now is really not the time to be shorting. This isn't the purpose of the video. You can see that we are miles away from the EMA ribbons. We're miles away from the bull market support bands. I don't think now is the perfect time to short. But in terms of can we get continuation to the downside from here, I absolutely do think so. And here's why. If we are looking at the volume profiles on this chart, what I've done on the left side of the screen, you can see we've got all of the volume profiles that encompass the trading history from Cake on the Binance exchange. Now you can see when you come down into these white boxes, you are in areas where there's a decent amount of volume traded. And when you come into these red boxes, there is not much volume traded. Now you can tend to see when you come into these big clusters of white where there's lots of volume traded, you spend decent amounts of time trading within these regions, and more or less you hold them for prolonged periods of time until you break down into the red boxes where you have knee-jerk reactions down into the next box. You can see once you moved into the red here, knee-jerk reaction down to the bottom of this white box. Over here, once you fell beneath the white box, knee-jerk reaction down to the bottom of this white box. And quite recently, we've been trading in this red region in no man's land. We've had a rally for the past few weeks or so, and we've reverted right back up to $1.59, which is the bottom of this big volume cluster here, which has been flipped as resistance. Now you can see we did just poke our head above this. If we do come over to the daily time frame and look at what is going on, you can clearly see that we did just manage to get into this volume profile area, and we have had a monumental rejection on the daily time frame. It is not looking good for Cake. Yes, Bitcoin is down. Yes, the altcoin market cap is down. But Cake is down about 5% as of the time of recording this video, getting hit harder than a lot of altcoins. And here on the daily time frame is what I am seeing develop. Now, like I said, we have had a huge candle right into the middle of the EMA ribbons, and since then we are moving back down. So in the immediate short term, I do think that we are moving down to the bottom of the short-term moving averages, round about $1.50. That is roughly a psychological level as well. So this is kind of where I see us moving down to in the next 24 hours or so. If we do come over to the next chart though, here is where things are really getting ugly for Cake. Now, let's dissect this level by level. First of all, I want to get rid of the stochastic RSI. I want to get rid of some of the things which are plaguing your vision over on this chart right here, because there is a lot to break down on the daily. The first thing that I want to highlight is what is happening in the price right now. We do have a hidden bearish divergence developing. As you can see, there was a top over on Cake at $1.83. We then made a lower high around about $1.77. And in the past 48 hours, we did have a sharp rally to the upside up to $1.67, right? That's very bullish. We had a very nice rally, 17% in a day. However, it was a lower high, and we've got a sharp rejection playing out right now. Now, if we come over to the oscillator, you can see the oscillator, and we can actually drag this back a little bit further to this data point, but you get my gist of this. We can even drag it all the way back down to here. As you can see, technically, this is a subsection of lower highs, and this is a subsection of higher highs for the oscillators, but we're just going to focus on this small instance over here to keep the video nice and compendious and not keep you here for any longer than you need to be. So over on the MFI, what do you see? You see a high, you see a higher high, you see a higher high, and once again, within the past 48 hours, we had that sharp rally. Look at how the MFI went flying all the way up to about 71. What you're noticing right now is the price action on the daily time frame for the past 29 days or so, but once again, we can drag this back to as far as the past 50 days. You can see the price action is making lower highs and lower highs, but the oscillator, with every pump back up to the upside, is becoming more and more overextended. So this is a classic case of hidden bearish divergence. If you don't know what this means really, basically the price action is getting weaker and weaker, and the oscillator is pushing higher and higher. So price is showing weakness, and the oscillator is becoming more and more overextended. So this means that if we keep on grinding against this trend line, potentially make another lower high around about 160, which is not my base case scenario. I just want to highlight this as a possibility. We could really see the MFI push all the way up to around about 80, and when this finally does start to play out, the MFI will have lots of room to correct in this market. The fact that we're seeing the divergence in the MFI as well shows that bulls are getting exhausted. This is the money flow index, not the RSI. It also takes into account volume, and this kind of shows us that volume is very lackluster right now. Bulls have really been trying to hold up Cake and buy in with the volume, but bears are just selling and getting stronger and stronger, and bulls are becoming weaker and weaker with these overextensions. So there we go. go. We talked about the MFI. Let's get rid of the MFI for now. Let's look at the stochastic RSI. The stochastic RSI, another oscillator. We're not looking at divergences on this one. We're just recognizing the ebbs and flows that this traditionally does from around about 0 to 100, 0 to 100, and it helps identify the peaks and the troughs in the market a lot of the time. So let's get rid of all these different indicators over here. What you can see is the stochastic RSI approached almost 100 as the price is all the way up here at $1.66. We've had a harsh rejection from there. Let's look at the last top in the stochastic RSI from then. You can see there was another top in the stock here at $1.78. There was another top here in the stock up at $1.82. There was a previous top in the stock when the stock hit 92, all the way up round about $1.85. I'm not trying to give you the exact price target that it topped out at. I'm really just showing you the ebbs and flows and what happens every single time that we seem to come up to this level for the stock. Now I'll backtrace this a little bit further. You can see another top in the stock round about $3.82. Another top in the stock here round about $3.97, $4 or so. And like I said, you can backtrace this further. Some of these data points previously, are obviously massive highs from this region, not necessarily higher highs from this region, but nonetheless, you can generally see every time the stochastic RSI tops out, most of the time, should I say, it ends up being a lower high before cake gets ready to move to the downside. So I'm seeing retests on the weekly time frame for cake in these volume profiles. I'm seeing retests of the daily EMA ribbons for cake on the daily time frame. I'm seeing the stochastic RSI top out on the daily time frame. I'm seeing bearish divergence start to present itself on the MFI on the daily time frame, and things are not looking too hot for cake right now. So I want to talk about my price targets and what I've currently got my eyes on. This is what I'm witnessing for cake. There is a subsection of price targets which I do have my eyes on right now. First of all, let me clear this chart up because, like I said, I know there's a lot of things going on my cake charts. I don't cover cake too often, only when I see something really worth talking about. Nonetheless, this is really why I've only got about 3 charts, and they are a little bit crowded over on cake. So the first thing that I've got my eyes on is this bear flag. Now, we've obviously already broken to the downside of this. I've mentioned this before. The price target is all the way down at 78 cents. If we do revert the chart back to how it originally was, you can see I've got another price target down here at $1. Basically, my price targets are all encompassed within this green box, and technically we can move this a tiny bit lower. I'll talk about it level by level. The next price target I've got my eyes on to the downside is pretty brutal. It is $1. Why $1? It's not backed up by a fib, not backed up by a TA. It's a psychological level. A lot of people are going to have their eyes on $1. I imagine a lot of people are going to be setting their buy orders at $1. Maybe people are going to front run it $1, $1.05, $1.03, etc. You get my gist. I think there will be a small region of support, round about the $1 region, in which we could bounce up, potentially see a reversion to the mean before heading back down to lower price targets. So first of all, $1. The next price target to the downside is the bear flag breakdown at 78 cents. We do have another beautiful Fibonacci, a 1.618 down here at 60 cents, and we've got a 2.618 Fibonacci down here at 48 cents. I'll zoom out a little bit further so you can see what fibs I've drawn. Over here, we've got this fib from this low to this high, and over here, we've got this fib from this low to this high, and we've got another fib here from this low to this high, but our price target was here at the 2 extension, and we've already hit this one, so I no longer have my eyes on this Fibonacci specifically. This one though does have this fib down here at the 2.618 fib. So yeah, you know my price targets now. If you want to pause the video and kind of just eyeball which Fibonacci is going to be for which level, of course this one here is in correlation to this price target here. This Fibonacci low from this high here is going to encompass this price target and this price target, and this fib right here up to this high is going to encompass the 2 Fibonacci which we've already hit, and this 2.618 down here. So you know my price targets. Unfortunately, I think things are not looking too hot for cake right now. I think cake is coming down to $1. I think it's then going down to 78 cents. I think it's then going down to about 60 cents, and potentially we can, analyze the market as it comes down to potentially as low as 48 cents. If you are DCAing altcoins right now, if you do hold cryptocurrency in general and cake is something that you're looking at buying in the next cycle, I do recommend that you get a Trezor hardware wallet to protect your cryptocurrency. I am a Trezor affiliate, so I will leave my link down below if you do want to check out Trezor hardware products. But yeah, that's all I've got for today, my friends. If you do enjoy my videos, make sure to let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to click the join button on YouTube and become a member today. Follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out. Peace.